What is going on, party peeps? I've got a treat for you today. I've got a good friend of mine, Mr. Taylor Jefferson, who is an absolute rock star in Metro Richmond. Taylor, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Good. I'm doing well. So Taylor is an absolute stud when it comes to working with buyers. Primarily, what percentage of your business would you say is buyers?
I'm very, very buyer heavy. Spitballing it 85%. Yeah, I think that's about right. 1 to 5 ratio sellers to buyers.
So and just for the hook here, Taylor, tell the fine folks at home, what were your numbers that you put up last year? GCI transactions, whatever you feel comfortable sharing. And I know you know this number. Where did you rank on the Richmond top 100 agents this past year?
I made it to number 29. I sold 31 million and change, but 31 is kind of the big number. Yeah, it was a good year.
Oh, if you don't mind me asking, what was GCI?
Like 878,000.
878,000, and you've got like a huge marketing budget, right? That's like eating up that profit margin.
Absolutely. They put the foreclosure sign in my front yard already. I just couldn't pour enough gasoline on the fire.
No.
I only use my time. Other than I do have marketing expenses, but that's predominantly listings and that's photography, video, things like that, staging. But as far as active money spent marketing myself, $0 last year.
Yeah. So 800 some odd GCI, very healthy profit margin. You've got a huge team that you're splitting all these commissions with as well, right?
Me, myself, and I.
Yeah.
I do. My wife, Sarah, is a realtor and an agent, but I kind of lost her into the mix due to our second child, who's now 2 years old, and we're bringing her back into the fold as we've hired a full-time nanny so that I can have some help. But predominantly last year, it's myself. Sarah would help out a little bit here and there with some showings. I'm not trying to diminish her help, but this is the very honest answer. It's predominantly me, myself, and I.
So husband and wife team, 800 plus GCI, virtually no marketing budget, very, very healthy profit margins, working predominantly buyers. So I wanted to bring Taylor on to the pod today and ask him some questions, because I would say more than anybody I know, you have mastered the process of working with buyers. So for the folks out there that are maybe a little bit on the struggle bus in this market, a little bit on the struggle bus working with buyers, I would say it all starts in the beginning with buyers with setting proper expectations and making sure they understand the rules of engagement, right? So when you first start chatting with a prospective buyer, how do you set that up, and how do you set expectations with buyers?
Yeah, so I call it the initial buyer consultation. It usually lasts 45 minutes to an hour. During that initial consultation, I'm getting, wants and needs, right? The standard on paper, what are we looking for? I try to have a nice, meaningful conversation, get to know them. Part of that is what's motivating them. Are they actually motivated? Are they really, looking to buy, or are they just looking to look? What is the pain point they're trying to solve by purchasing this next house? Because that also tells me where the varying levels of priorities lie in each category that they give me. Are schools the most important? Is exercise the most important? Number of bedrooms, property type, going from townhome to single family. Just identifying the pain points and what they're trying to solve with this move. Because if you're buying a home in the market right now, something's got to be bugging you that you're trying to fix it with this. Now, I do specialize in relocation, and a lot of my clients find me from my videos. So I do have a leg up compared to a lot of buyers agents that they already feel like they know me because I'm so video heavy, that they've seen me, they've seen how I act, how I talk, my mannerisms, that, they feel like they know me already. So I do have a leg up there. But during the initial phone call or a Zoom, 45 minutes to an hour, I try to get to know them the whole time I'm trying to understand what are they looking for, what areas can I immediately rule out, what's their budget size, all that jazz. And so the gears are turning immediately.
So, all right. So you're slowing down your speed up. You're setting you're having a buyer consultation, right? Hey guys, you're about to make a $400,000, $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 purchase. Let's have a strategy session, right? Which is not an obscene request. What do you do if somebody's just like, hey, yeah, no, we already know what we want. Like, we just want to see 1, 2, 3 houses.
No. I said, we'll get there. Sure. But I still need to have this. This is for me. I need to know what you're looking for. I need to know I'm not wasting my own time. Now, I will phrase it probably nicer than that. But if somebody's like, no, I just need to see these 3 homes, they don't value me. If they say, I just need to see these 3 houses, all I am to them is opening a door. There's no relationship there. I've actually, I had an email like that a month or 2 ago. Somebody sent me a home, and the subject line, it was very, it diminished my role. I think it said showing agent. And I'm like, no, I am a buyer's agent. I'm not a showing agent. I don't just open doors. If that's the only value you can see in me, please use somebody else. You're going to be fine with whoever you use, because your expectations of what you want from your agent are so low. Everyone's going to wow you, but I'm not going to waste my time if that's my only connection to our relationship is that. And the house was like an hour away from where I live, and I wrote him back and I was like, not interested if this is all that you're asking for is for me to open a door, because there's no, how am I going to hook you? How am I going to know that if that house isn't the one, it's a Hail Mary, just one particular home? What about the next, what about the relationship moving forward from start to finish?
Yeah, they just view it as a commodity.
Correct.
Now, what do you think? I know the answer to this, but what do you think gives you the ability, the brass to be able to respond in that way of, hey, guys, like if that's what you're looking for, that's fine, but that's not me?
Probably 2 different answers there. One is I have so many leads, I don't have to say yes to everyone. Like, I truly am in a very blessed position where if we're not going to get along well, if I'm not going to have fun doing this, I'm not going to do it. I don't have to do this. I want to do this. I enjoy helping people, but it's a 2-way street. Like, I need them to make it enjoyable for me too. And if they don't respect me, if they don't respect my time, the fact that I do have a family and try to have a small life outside of this, varying levels of success there. But yeah, I have so many more leads that I'll get it on the next one. So that's probably the first answer. I think I've forgotten the second one, but there you go.
First answer was good enough. Like, simply put, guys, if you lead generate, you don't have to tolerate. If you have an abundance of leads, you don't have to put up with the nonsense that sometimes we as agents are asked to put up with. All right. So, okay. So we have the consultation. What are you telling folks? How are you keying folks into the reality of our marketplace, which, as you know, is much different than a lot of markets in the United States right now? Like, if you're not following this, Metro Richmond is a much harder market than most places in the country right now. So how are you setting expectations about the market, and how are you coaching people through, like, hey, this is what a competitive offer actually looks like in our marketplace?
Yeah. Competition has been so hit and miss lately that I don't spend as much time during that initial consultation going over market conditions unless we are knee deep in the spring market like we are right now. Because like last year, it wasn't as competitive. It was spotty. Competition was very spotty. There were pockets, certain brand name neighborhoods, brand name areas. If I know you're not looking there, I'm not even I'll bring it up as needed. And that's usually I just give them that single sentence. Hey, if you walk into a home, you immediately fall in love. If it's priced right, conditions right, you like it, you might not be the only one. We'll have our multiple offer 101 discussion when needed, as needed. But trust me, over the past 4 years during COVID, I've dealt with multiple offers time in, time out, and I rarely lose when my clients listen. Now, you are still the boss. I will give you my recommendations. You do not have to listen to them. If there's something you don't like, we can tweak it. You're the boss. I'm the coach. I'm going to tell you what I think I would do, what we should do, and we'll kind of take it from there. Our best successes are when people listen to me. So I'll say that. The other thing that I'll do to help, I do this with almost every relocation client, because with relocation, you're dealing with an extra layer of relativity. What are they used to versus the relativity within our own marketplace? Midlothian and Short Pump offer 2 very different products as far as homes go, 2 very different price points, sizes, price per square foot, floor plan, year built. Also, what are they used to? So I go through MLS, and after I have my initial buyer consultation, I say, okay, Here is your homework. You're going to do dot, dot, dot. Here is my homework. I'm going to go through MLS looking for homes that have already sold over the past 6 months. I'm going to search for at least what matches you on paper. And within your budget, within your price point, I'm going to get a nice, healthy range of houses. And especially if you're looking over different areas. And I say, what I want you to do is to go through them. I'm going to scrub the list. I say, I'm going to weed out the crap. I'm going to take it from 200 homes to what I say would be like the top 50 or 60. I'm going to send them your way. Please go through them. Please mark the ones that you would have wanted to see in person as a favorite. This will do a couple things. This will show you the different price points and different bang for your buck in the different areas around Richmond. It'll also provide you exact examples of what you could have gotten if you were house hunting at that time. And it will also show you what it was listed at, what it sold for. And so this flattens their learning curve. And additionally, for me, again, with relocation, this gives me addresses to drive them by or to send them to explore the area. Now, every now and then I'll have a couple of buyers that go, well, I don't want to, it's a lot to go through. If you're not willing to do my homework, if you're not willing to put in a little bit of effort that is going to drastically help us, here we go. Thank you for waving your red flag if you're probably wasting my time. Appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah. And guys, if you haven't noticed, like you're listening to a pro, right? You're listening to somebody who does this at a very high level. And I hope you guys are catching that. He's systematized his process of, hey, I've figured out what works. And because between that and the fact that, you have enough leads to meet your goals, you're able to speak with that authority of, you're not like soft shoeing. You're not walking on eggshells. You're not being rude, but you're saying it like it is, and you're letting the chips fall where they may, because you're not attached to the outcome. So
I'm not gonna yes anyone to death. Do not be a yes man. Do not be an agreeable. Like, don't agree just for the sake of you're worried about losing them. If you can't tell your clients the truth, what are y'all doing together?
Yeah, and to be honest with you, like what I found in the past, the unreasonable people, it makes them show their unreasonableness. But the reasonable people, they respect somebody that's willing to tell them something that is not necessarily
it's what they need to hear, not what they want to hear.
Absolutely.
And they respect you for telling them the truth.
And the trust factor goes up that much higher. Yeah.
100%.
So, all right. So we talked about that. So tell me, so how many buyers did you guys close last year?
I think it was like 37 or 38.
37, 38. So pretty much you were just driving up and down 288 at any given day, at any given time. You could fly over 288 and you could see Taylor's car.
Yes.
So how do you work with a high volume of buyers all at the same time? Like, how do you pull that off?
Yeah. Like I said, every now and then I'll pull my wife, Sarah, into the mix. But as a buyer's agent, most of my activity client facing, like with them in person, is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And so there are times when like I'll get bogged down and it is a logistical nightmare to figure out showing schedule based on what house is available, or what the availability is on the house, what the availability is of my client, and what I'm already booked. So Sarah and I will try to divide and conquer. We always make sure we've got some extra coverage on the weekends. There have been times where I hit capacity. And so if a new lead reaches out, I'm like, I really appreciate you reaching out. I know I do not have the capacity to service you if you are a now buyer. What is your timeline? I just want to get that out of the way, but what's your timeline? Are you now, or are you 3 months from now? Because if you're 3 months from now, let's talk. But if you're a now, I can't do it. But Saturdays and Sundays are rough. I leave at 9 in the morning, 8 in the morning, and I usually don't make it back home until 5 or 6. Now that's assuming a very busy day, but I'm handling multiple clients within that same day. Usually 3 to 5 clients, a handful of showings each. Whenever I've got a brand new client in town, and I call it marathon showings, and they want to see pretty much anything and everything that fits their criteria, I try to aim to do those earlier in the week because I'm a little bit more available. There are times where it's really challenging, but this is where either having a teammate or having another agent you can It's better if it's a teammate, so you keep everything in house. For us, having Sarah as a realtor, our clients already know her too because she appears in the videos. So I get no pushback when I'm like, hey, Sarah's going to handle this one showing for you because I'm already tied up doing this. But yeah, Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays are usually loosely organized chaos.
Yeah, yeah. But I would say though, and I've experienced this as well, the better you get at having the tough conversations up front, the better that you get at pre-qualifying people, the better you get if like something seems a little off, you're just willing to address it and head on and ask the question. Like you're not wasting your time by and large with people that are not ready to buy or just kind of loosey-goosey or not
Yes.
committed to you.
Yes.
So like you're able to do so much more with your time because you don't have all that waste. And I feel like there's so many agents that I see that are running around showing, buyers properties that are not committed to working with them.
They're hoping to build their trust over the time spent. So they do the showings with the intention that this is where I'll wow them. And it's tough to wow somebody by walking into a home and going, this is open concept. And over here is the kitchen. You need to have made the trust up front before you open the door.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that goes back to your YouTube channel is amazing, which we won't, is too much for today, but so walk me through what are your tips on if somebody's working with a buyer, what are your tips on getting offers accepted? Like what terms are you seeing? What's working for you? We were talking earlier today, kind of what you're doing to network with the listing agents. Talk to me, like give me 3 to 5 tips on getting offers accepted.
Working with me helps. I have a very good reputation. So keeping your reputation with other agents as I'm good to work with. I play nicely in the sandbox.
Break that down for me. Give me specifics. Let's get tactical.
It's tough to get this without experience. This just comes naturally with experience. I am a cool cucumber during negotiations. I do not get overly excited. I'm very good at sitting at the poker table. And so I don't get antsy and uppity when either I'm getting excited about an offer probably, being accepted or going our way and dealing with the agent. I'm a cool customer. So that helps because let's say during the process, you get under contract with this listing and I'm the buyer's agent and I'm under contract and the listing agent are communicating or negotiating and there's a difference in opinions. I'm not mean about it. I'm like, hey, look, we're on the opposite sides of the same coin. At the end of the day, our goal is for us to both do the best we can for our clients while keeping them happy and getting it to closing. And so when there's a disagreement, I've had agents yell at me, they get heated, and I'm like, it is what it is. I know you're not mad at me, and this is a shame that this is how you negotiate and how you treat others, because I'm going to remember this, but hopefully you'll remember me as not reacting this way. So keeping a good reputation or building a good reputation, especially if you're new, very important because agents will remember this. And if they remember, I love working with Taylor. I love working with, if they enjoyed working with you, make them remember that and say, hey, remember that deal? Or I was great to deal with. Everything went well. It was smooth. That goes a long way, especially if it's an apples to apples offer. Then it really does come down to which one does the listing agent trust? And so having a good reputation, I'd say, is crucial there. But let's say it's not apples to apples. What do I do? The first thing I do is I look at the showing schedule. Since we request all of our showings online, if I see that there's one spot blacked out and only one showing, well, the most amount of offers they can get after I schedule my showing is 2. So I first check the showing schedule for my litmus test. How nutty is this thing going to get? During 2022 in the spring market, there would be 2 appointments available, 2 15-minute windows, and otherwise it's fully booked. And so I tell my clients, prepare for a bloodbath. This is going to get nutty. So let's go make sure the house passes our standards because we're going to have to give away the farm to get this thing. So I'll first check showing schedule. How does it look? How competitive does it look to be? Then I reserve all other judgment until I get into the home. The amount of times that I'm fooled by professional photography and you can't smell a house online. Also, not every time does the agent show you everything. Some things will be omitted. And then you go there and you're like, oh, look at those power lines in the backyard. Should have looked at the aerial map or whatever. Train tracks, things like that. So I reserve any further judgment and discussion as far as what we should do until we get in it. How does the house feel? Is it well taken care of? Is there a smell? This, that, and the other. And also, I want to see how much my clients like it. From there, I kind of know how to crank up the heat. And it's because I'm working with so many buyers, I've got a great pulse on the market. And then anytime that I don't win a multiple offer scenario, I'll call the agent and ask, hey, do you mind telling me kind of like what did it? Was it a whale with all cash and no inspection just blew me out the water? Or did I miss it by an inch? Did I miss it by a mile? And then also I've got my own contracts that I did get under contract, and I know what it took to do those. So I tell my clients, I will crank the heat as necessary to your comfort level within this offer. And so the price points, the pain points that I address in a multiple offer scenario, this is what I tell my buyers. There are 3 to 4 pain points for a seller: price, appraisal, inspection. Potentially a fourth is closing date / rent back.
Yeah, yeah. And dude, I'll tell you, I'm always blown away how many agents don't ask the question that you ask when they lose, of like, hey, what did we lose by? Because that is a perfect opportunity to get the pulse of the market.
Exactly.
That's also a good coaching opportunity to go back to your clients instead of writing the same dumb offer over again that's not going to get accepted. Go back and say, hey guys, like, this is what we lost to, and therefore this is what we are more than likely going to be up against on the next round. I think that's perfect. And guys, if you're not a Taylor and you don't have this experience or the volume of clients or whatever, go to the top listing agents in your office, go to the top listing agents and say, hey man, like, I've got these buyers. Would you mind sharing with me kind of what you're seeing on your end?
Yes.
Because and Taylor, I'm blown away. Not that I'm like the bee's knees or the end all be all, but like, we sell 40, 50 listings. I'm amazed that I don't have agents that come up to me and say like, hey, can you kind of like coach, like, what are you seeing? Like, we have these conversations all the time, but I'm blown away by how many agents don't ask that. So, all right, so let's transition to this. And this we'll kind of wrap on this. So we had a little bit of a administrative procedural change this past August. How are you dealing with the commission changes? What are you doing? How are you ensuring that you actually get paid? What are the conversations? What are the dialogues? What does that look like?
So it was gravy from August till end of the year. No issue. Like I was getting 2.5%, 3%. And what I tell people is I operate on handshake and trust. And I do. When I make you sign a buyer's agency agreement, sorry, I'm kind of stumbling over my words because I don't have this. Obviously, I've got this conversation all the time, but I don't like have it scripted. It's more of a natural, organic one. But what I tell people is now we put the commission into the purchase agreement. There's also the other form, which is the buyer broker form, whereas you officially hire me. I tell my clients, look, I am so high volume, I'm going to get what I'm going to get. And so if a seller comes back and negotiates with me, I'm good to negotiate. If I make 2% on this one, I'm not asking you to cover my other half or my 1%. I do not have a minimum. I'm rolling the dice. I'm chancing it. Let's take this journey together. I'm not greedy. I have a heart. I enjoy what I do, and I love working with my buyers, and I love helping. If I do this enough, I will make what I need to make. So that's the first or the second half of last year, no issue. I was making 2.5%, 3% the whole time. This year has been interesting with multiple offers because now agents have begun to negotiate the commission within the purchase agreement. And so now it's one additional pain point for the seller that now makes an apples to apples offer potentially very different. There was one house that I lost, and this was a unicorn of a home. It was $1 million log cabin that looked like a world-class private ski lodge retreat. It was a vibe. And I came in second. First beat me by having their buyers pay their buyer's agent their commission. And so I lost by 2.5% on that one. So now what I'm telling my clients is during multiple offers, I'm willing to reduce my commission that I request on the purchase agreement. And then I tell all my clients, I adjust whatever we wrote in the purchase agreement that got ratified and signed, I adjust the buyer's agency agreement to match. And I've still 30, 40 houses later since August, I haven't charged my buyers a penny. I've not netted, as much. I'm not as, you know what I'm saying? I'm not capitalizing the max commission potential, but I'm fine. And
Yeah.
and my buyers love it. They appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I would make the argument that he could probably still charge what he's worth and
I
get it.
probably could. There are some, but I'm like in the effort of fairness. This is what I'm going to do for everybody until I can't put food on my table. Then there might be a different story. But I also know that like come summer, multiple offers pretty much disappear. And if that's the season that I just need to crank up the heat and make all my money, I'll just have a crazy summer and I'll go on a winter vacation. Like,
There you go. There you go. Well, Taylor, I appreciate your time here today, my friend. What if any parting advice would you give if an agent is new, if they're newer, if they're on the struggle bus, if their business is not where they want it to be, or they're looking to level up?
Yeah.
What would you leave the fine folks with?
Yeah, I get this question a lot from people that they see me on social, they see me, crushing it. I've got fun cars, whatnot, and everybody thinks real estate's an easy job. Selling one home is very easy. Selling one home is wildly easy. It's selling 50 in a year. That is not easy. But it'd be unrealistic to expect you to sell 50 in a year as a brand new agent. So there's two parts of the business. The first part is prospecting and or getting the business. And then the second part is conducting the business, showing the homes, writing the offers, winning the multiple offer scenario, and then transacting the sale from start to finish to give a wonderful process to your client and have them go, oh, that was easy, or you were the best I've ever had. Thank you so much. So you've got to earn the business, get the business, create the business, but then you've got to conduct the business. As a brand new agent, you know how to do neither. So what I think and what I tell buyer or people that reach out and wanting to become a realtor all the time is, one, have some runway, have some financial runway, because even if you got a sale immediately, you're still not getting paid for that until 30 to 45 days later. And that is unrealistic to think day one of becoming an agent you're going to sell. So have some financial runway. The more you have, the better. It's very difficult to be a part-time agent, so you really need to go all in. And it is entirely possible to completely waste your time doing the wrong things. So I would join a team. The reason you should join a team if you're brand new, they will do the prospecting for you. They will feed you the leads. And if then you don't have to worry about that part, now you can focus on, okay, I'm working with clients, gaining experience that way. And then you can, they'll train you and they'll help you. They will flatten the learning curve for you because somebody already has the experience that you can lean in on. And this will speed up you going from, getting experience. Every sale, every transaction is experience. But if you're solo doing it on your own and you fumble through 4 or 5 that year, one, you're starving to death. 2, 4 to 5 sales in a year versus 12 to 20 on a team. The person that did 12 to 20 that first year learned a lot more than you did on your own with 4 to 5. And that's not to say you can't sell more than 4 to 5 as a solo agent, but this just speeds it up. Now, maybe you don't need the team forever. Maybe you need to learn, get established, grow your database, whatever. But at a minimum, if it were me, if I were to go back and do it all over again, and I could not keep my memory of what I know now, I would go back and be a team or be on a team as a buyer's agent and just get your feet wet, hit the ground running. That's honestly what I would do. Because a lot of people do reach out saying, hey, are you looking? And I'm not looking to grow. I'm very happy with what I've created, and I don't want the oversight of monitoring a brand new person. I did train one agent from scratch, and she was crushing it, but she left. And so now I'm pretty butthurt about it. And I'm just like, I'm just going to keep it my wife and I. Like, we're good. We're happy. Life is good.
Yeah.
But I would join a team.
There you have it. There you have it. Taylor, thank you, my friend, for joining us, and hope you guys got value out of this. If you have a question, concern that Taylor did not.
There's one thing I'd like to add, and this is a wonderful sound clip for you, but it's the God's honest truth. I used to be a pharmacist, and so for 5 years, and Sarah used to be a nurse. For 5 years, we worked both healthcare and real estate, thinking 2 part-time agents equals 1 full-time agent. Once I got into real estate, I loved it. I was like, this is what I want to do, but I have no clue what to do. No clue. Like I'm just fumbling through it. It's random referrals. My business was up and down, very much like a roller coaster. You know, highs were high, lows were low. And eventually, I got to a point where it's getting close to my pharmacy income and I'm ready to go. Chris was my first and only call of how do I become you? And because I looked up, you can look up productivity and numbers, and I looked up his, and I'm like, man, how do I become Chris? Now, I became Chris of the buyers and not necessarily of listings, but you're in really good hands with Chris. He knows what he's doing, and yeah, he definitely helped me out getting me started.
So emotional, man. Thank
Yeah.
you. So, all right,
Let me
guys.
take 100 and wipe my tears real quick.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. All right, guys. If you have a question we didn't address, throw it in the comments below. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
All right. Peace.